This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, and welcome to the Sunrise Safari. My name is Jamie, and this morning Sebastian is on camera with me. And typically, whenever we start in the morning or the afternoon, we try and sort of stop the car, give you a sort of general impression of the surroundings here on Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa. The reason I haven't done that today is because I'm just so excited to go and see what my hyenas are up to, and they're not here. I'm deeply disappointed. I can't even show you at the moment because I'm trying to navigate my way around the den that I don't know terribly well. It's over there. I'm gonna have to turn sideways. Right, let me stop and actually do this properly. So, this is a live safari. What that means is that you can interact with us. You can send through your questions and your comments on hashtag SafariLive on Twitter, or alternatively in the comments section of YouTube. Nope, nobody's home. And I was so jealous of Brent last night, watching him with the cubs gambling all over the place. Have we got the right termite mound, Seb? It's not the one ahead. I'm going to go check there anyway, just in case they're moving backwards and forwards. Ahead, yeah. I have been to this den, but I haven't been there when the cubs are around. I went there yesterday. Now, for those of you that missed yesterday's sunset safari, it was, I wouldn't call it a debacle exactly, but it was certainly an interesting experience because we had one serious proper summer thunderstorm, which is fantastic, but it did mean that our lives were a bit more difficult because obviously with lightning we need to move away from the areas. It's a bit dangerous for us out here with a lightning conductor attached to the back of our vehicle in the form of an antenna, so we have to be careful. No, I think it's this one here. I think it is this one here. Okay, Brent was right. Don't tell him I said that. He told me this my way in wasn't the best way in, and I ignored him and I went my way and he was right. Hate it when that happens. What else have I forgotten to tell you? Oh yes, you will actually be going on safari from two different countries. So from the Masai Mara in Kenya as well as from here in South Africa. Here in South Africa it is 17 degrees centigrade, which is something in Fahrenheit. 60 something. This is it. 62 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's nice and chilly, which is good. Means that the rain that fell last night has a chance to properly soak into the ground. Oh dear, this is definitely it. And I have to say, ain't nobody home. Of course, I'm very excited to come to the hyena den because we've been away for 2 weeks. So thank you to everyone for the welcome backs. It's good to be back. It's very nice to see how the bush has changed. I'm looking forward to seeing some baby impalas this morning. That's my aim. If I can't see any baby hyenas, I want to see how much they've grown. Oh!
Hello.
Morning! Alright, so the cubs are home. As most of you know, our rule or approach to this situation is to leave for this exact reason, because our presence makes the hyena cubs curious, and it encourages them out of the den. Alright, but my little cub, we can't be here without your mummy. Right, while we head out and find our way back out of this hyena den, let's send you over to Steve, who's in the Masai Mara. Hopefully he's got a beautiful sunrise.
Welcome to the Mara Triangle in Kenya, where it is, can you believe it, a 16 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Fahrenheit, recorded as the coldest day since being here. Beautifully constant the temperatures. Good morning, my name is Steve. I'm joined on camera by Big James, and we're out in the Mara Triangle, and we are going to see if we can find the Awino Pride. I've been trying hard the last week, and hopefully today is our day. So jump on board. Let us know if there's anything you'd like to talk about this morning. You know how to get hold of us on hashtag SafariLive. And don't forget also we have got the YouTube chat stream. Feel free to throw your questions and comments in there. Use the all-important @FC. Keep your questions relevant. let me know, are there any special things you'd like to focus on this morning? We're going to head towards the Escarpment Road area and in search of the Owino Pride. But as you know, there are lots of other things along the way that can be spotted. And let's see how we can weave those interests into the morning's drive. It is a wonderful day. Yeah, I saw some photos of the thunderstorm and of some of the hail that Seb and I think it was also Brent posted on our WhatsApp group. And well, that looked pretty deadly. Definitely wouldn't have wanted to have my car out in that storm. And no doubt that is why they rushed home to prevent themselves being killed. The hail was almost the size of a tennis ball. Can you imagine? Anyway, no hail and no thunderstorms up in the Mara the last few days. It's been a wonderfully dry couple of days. But on that note, we are going to start our engines and head on down the road. Jump on board, make yourself some coffee, excitement. Who knows what will be provided for us this morning. Lovely to have Jamie and Brent back, that's for sure. I actually bumped into the hyena ladies, the ladies from Michigan State University yesterday. And Jamie's name came up, obviously, and they send their regards. Jess, Kate, and Erin, they send their regards all the way to you down in Druma and say they miss you up here with their hyenas. And no doubt Brent himself, being back from leave, is super excited to be getting out on foot.
Good morning, and yes, I'm stretching the legs, having a stroll through the African bush with Batman on camera, and of course, Herbert keeping us safe behind. Now, we've been having a discussion about Hosanna, and we're convinced he's somewhere around here, sitting on a kill. So we're going to go check between Vuyatela Camp and Buffelshoek Dam. We think there's a good likelihood he might be in that area. So hopefully we'll get some luck with leopard on foot. And I nearly forgot. My name is Brent Smith, and if you want to talk to me, #SafariLive on Twitter, or just pop your feed into the YouTube stream chat. And it is quite windy, so we're going to be going quite carefully this morning. Of course, windy conditions can produce some very nervy elephants and buffalo, so we will be taking it very, very careful. Fortunately, between Herbie and myself, I think we're sitting with over 40 years of experience on foot in the bush, so we should be okay. Batman, if we have to sacrifice him, well, you know, he's just a cameraman, aren't you, Batters? Batman's funny smile behind the camera was said it all. And I'm looking forward to getting up close and personal with some big game on foot. I don't think we're going to see too many little things after the rain just yet. It's going to take a day or two for the insects to explode. But we might get lucky with a frog or a scorpion that's a bit late getting into a hiding spot. You never know. Okay. I think we had... Oh dear. This is a very tricky subject that I've now been asked to bring up. And that is who caught more fish on leave, Tristan or myself. Well, let's just say as an overall experience, the fish won. We were a bit unlucky with the weather. We had... up to sort of 60-70 km/h winds while we were there, which made the fishing quite challenging. But yes, I caught one baby GT, giant trevally of about a kilogram or so. I mean, the ones we were looking for were about 30 kilograms or so, but we only caught one of about a kilogram. And I caught one yellow-bellied rock cod, about the size of my hand. And I caught one South African thornfish, a bit bigger than my hand, and that was it. And Tristan, on the other hand, caught some weed, a rock. No, we didn't have the best luck with fishing. But oh, Herbie spotted something. Let's go see what Herbie has spotted. Oh, it is just who we've been looking for. Well spotted, Herb, and it's very fresh, and I'm almost willing to bet it is Hosanna. On top of the rain, it stopped raining at about midnight, So between midnight and this morning, and you never know with Hosana, he could be staring at us from a right here. Okay, well that's good news. Oh, we're going to have to concentrate quite heavily here with this after the rain. The tracking is always more difficult. There we go. Now, can you believe that is a leopard track? As I said, we're going to have our eyes really, really sharp. But fortunately, between Herbie and myself, I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to figure out which way our little chief has wandered. In the meantime, let's go see if Jamie's heading down to the south to have a look for Tandikile.
I was actually going to head towards the south, but if they found fresh tracks of Hosana, because I've just said to Seb, let's just check some of his more regular haunts, I'm happy to go and help out. I'm just going to chat to Herbie. Oh, excuse me. Quickly. Whew. That took me by surprise. And just find out if there's anywhere they want me to check. Otherwise, I will go south and have a look for Tundi and maybe even the Nkuhumas, although Rex said that apparently the Nkuhumas were to the west of Djuma. The Nkuhumas, for those of you that don't know, are rayons. Difficult tracking after rain like yesterday, but some nice puddles. Let's go have a look at Chelepan quickly, see if it's got water while I talk to Herbie. Herbie. Morning, Herbie. Thank you. It's good to be back. Is there anywhere you want me to check? Or do you think you guys have got it? Okay, copy. Herbie's just said 1-0. Never mind. You can go across to Bushwalk and find out why Herbie's telling me it's 1-0.
There we go. What a wonderful way to start the morning. We're not even 10 minutes out of camp, and we've located Hosana. As we said, those tracks were very fresh. He could be watching us, and that's exactly what he was doing. Let's just move along a little bit so we can get a better view of him. And he is such a wonderful cat on foot. Most leopards would be cowering and sneaking. But there's Hosana. He's just strolling. And he's going to pop under that little combretum. Let's go this side, Craig. He's going to pop out on the other side, I think. You can just see his tail. Let's go. Let's go have a look this side. Maybe he thinks we'll have a better view. Now, what we've done now is we've called the game drive vehicles in. They're going to have a much better chance of being able to follow him for a long distance. Where's he off to? Carol says Hosana loves the bushwalk. That he does. He's underneath that thicket over there. I'm just trying to see where the best spot for a view. Can hear all the franklins. You got him, Craig? He's in the middle of that thicket. That's where he thought he was. Looks like he's decided to have a little there he is. I've come here, Craig. Slightly is walking through. And just see that tip of his tail through that gap there. There he is. So what we'll do is we're going to keep a close eye on him till the vehicles arrive, so he doesn't do a disappearing act, which leopards are so famously good at. Hopefully someone's not too far away. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, well, we're going to keep up with him so to make sure that Jamie and Rexon can get to him. while we do... Ooh, that's a bit slippery. Let's send you back to Jamie.
We are racing off in the direction of Bushwalk. Well done, Bushwalk. That was quick and easy. Herbie and I have a little competition, obviously. We have a little bit of a competition as to who can find the most leopards. Herbie always wins, of course, but someone's got to keep him vaguely entertained. So hence the 1-0 conversation. The other morning we both found a leopard. It went from 1-0 to me. Oops. You okay there, Seb? My sincerest apologies. There was an elephant in the road. I'm terribly sorry for the sudden application of brakes. I'm so sorry, little elephant. I did not mean to give you fright. Chattering away to the camera. Didn't even see it. Big grey thing. Surprising how easily they disappear behind the bushes. That was not at me. That was a different elephant calling off in the distance. Oh, so much to do, so much to see, but if I don't start making my way towards Hosana, there's a chance that Bushwalk is really going to struggle to keep up with him. So we're going to go there. Sorry, little one. Nice to see Ellie's around again. Oh, it's a little boy. That's why he's slightly separate from the rest of the herd. Okay, I'm going to sneak past the Ellies, make my way towards Hosana. While we do that, since it's not very exciting looking at the back of my head, let's send you across to Kenya, to Steve, who's searching for one of my favorite prides.
How wonderful is it, as always, to find Hosana. I was thinking about it the other day, that I bumped into him, I'm trying to think, it must be over 4 months ago now, randomly on that, at the end of that first National Geographic Kids show. We bumped across this leopard after Tristan and I had lost Tundi mysteriously. She just vanished. And then I was driving along the road, bumped this leopard, and Louise, you weren't directing, but you were sitting in FC, and we were trying to figure who it was. We were like, no, it can't be. It can't be. Tristan came in as with a private guiding, and it was quite incredible how excited we all became back then. And since then, correct me if I'm wrong, Lou, I don't think he's missed a drive, has he? Old Hosana, what a champion. Absolute superstar. Absolute superstar. So Lou says he's missed a couple, but I mean, you know, he's allowed to have a day off, you know. His agent is put down his foot. He needs at least a couple days off. Keep him fresh for TV. I think he was in every TV show. Okay, well, anyway, we searched all the way down the mountain the other day a number of times, and we didn't search this part. So we're a little bit closer to camp along the escarpment road. When Jandre was here about a month and a half ago, we had their Wino Pride over here. We had them then hunting other side of the road here. So maybe they've come this way. I've got a more stronger feeling that they've maybe moved more that way because of sort of the Olololo Pride and the predominance of those young males hanging around here. There's also those two nomads around there that Kapuli dispatched not so long ago, and they're chasing everyone, and who knows what else they're getting up to in the cover of darkness. But our poor Owino Pride is probably somewhere in the middle of all of this, and who knows exactly where. We're hoping we can find them soon, because I've really put in a lot of effort in the last week to try and find them. Caroline, I have been watching, and I mean, so many screenshots get sent that I have been watching with a lot of interest how much bigger he's gotten, but it's impossible not to, the amount he eats. Gosh, I've never seen a leopard eat so much. We just don't see those sort of things. We get to see him so often that we're constantly seeing him full and with a kill, numerous kills. Really, really is going to be special to track and find him again, get out of the vehicle and do some walking. Very excited about that. But something, folks, yesterday on my way home, and it's probably why we haven't seen any, because when you look and you find an ostrich in this long grass, the grass is pretty long, so you can't see what's trailing them. But yesterday, in the burnt area, I got a photo of a male and female ostrich with 3 little things following So there are ostrich chicks around. We've just got to look a bit closer now, because out in these plains you won't see them because they're just too short. So we saw them yesterday. We're going to pay a bit more closer attention next time we see some ostriches and see if we can see little balls of fluff moving around the feet. Because a baby ostrich, as with all ground nesting birds, are called downies once they're walking, because they're just covered in down feather, very camouflaged, and once they hatch, the hatching can take between 1 and 3 days for all the eggs to come out, and then they'll just follow the adults around, pecking on the ground, and if there's any danger, they just sit down, very, very camouflaged. But that's probably why we haven't been seeing them, but there was only 3. Not a lot, not a lot. So hopefully we'll be able to show you some, because, oh, they were just so cute. They were so, so cute. But this is definitely the transition area between the Awino and Olololo area. There's some buffalo up ahead in the distance here, and you can just see them in the front of frame. We know that the Awinos had a buffalo last week. We found Olololo males, young males, on the kill, no doubt displaced them, and then we followed them that evening, and they moved directly away, sort of south, away from that kill, because they don't want to hang around with those males. They're just going to constantly steal from them. So who knows? We're going to keep our eyes open. Now I've got it. Now everybody wants to find the ostrich chicks. We're going to do our best. Potentially there'll be more, but that was in the burnt area, so the grass is very, very short. But no doubt they will be growing. They grow quite quickly, and within the coming weeks they'll start inching above the grass, if they survive the thousands of serval that we apparently have here, and all of the birds of prey, no doubt, that are prowling these rangelands. I wonder, I mean, Jamie and Brent were here for some time. Surely they must have seen some young ostriches. They must have. Manud hadn't. Mrs. Muffendale, indeed, that ostrich egg that we found. But it was a bit of a strange place, you know. It was no scraping anywhere, no nest design anywhere, all on its own, no eggshells. Good chance that that egg was stolen by a baboon, by something that was able to carry it a distance away, and then maybe it got spooked, or maybe it dropped it, who knows. Maybe it was abandoned in the nest because it had died or it hadn't been incubated properly, and when something did eventually pick it up and moved it, they got that same smell that we smelt. They decided, I'm going to leave this a little bit longer in the sun. It's not quite off enough. But we'll keep our eyes peeled, folks. This is definitely ostrich country. Oh no, the rotten egg was permeating through the shell, Lou. It was most foul. Most foul. It was almost a joke. Almost. Oh! Okay. Well, it is nonetheless another beautiful morning in the Mara. And I'm counting my days. Today is Thursday, and I leave on Monday morning. So the days are running out up in the Mara. I hope I'll come back at some stage. It's been a marvelous journey. I said that deliberately. Marvelous journey up here. But I've yet to get my lions hunting a buffalo and the North Clan displacing a pride with force. That is something I'm itching to see. Just means we'll have to come back, doesn't it, James? Indeed. Okay, well, Jamie has managed to follow up on the bushwalk team, and no doubt they've guided her right into the sighting with the little chief.
They have indeed guided us into the sighting with the little chief. The little chief is actually watching the bushwalk team move away and down towards the Mulwati. The reason that they're going in that direction is because good news, we found lion tracks. As we were chatting to Herbie and as he was telling me that he found Hosanna, I realized that there were some nice big lion tracks imprinted in the mud around Chelepan, which is very exciting. There's a good chance that they might still be around because those tracks must have been between rainfalls, if that makes any sense. Okay, let's reposition because he was posing so beautifully for us, nice and in the open, and then he moved. So let's just move ourselves and see if we can find ourselves a nice view of him. He's got so big. Our baby boy. He's now enormous. He looks like he's been pumping iron. Would you mind if I come park here, Hosanna? You never have before, but you're getting so big now, I don't know. Hi. How's that, Seb? Yeah. Hello, my boy. Sure. An adult now, huh? Look at those shoulders. He's been doing some serious weightlifting. Did you have a good night last night? I bet you did. I bet you had the best time last night. In the rain and the wind and the cold, with everything disoriented and brand new Impala lambs to go and terrorize. I bet you had an absolute blast. What did you eat? Oh, sleepy kitty. I think he's going to carry on now. Now, Child of the Universe, while we follow him to where I'm hoping he's going to take us to a kill, Child of the Universe is wondering with... Oh, no, is he going to... Oh, what are we doing? Okay, let me reposition. You want to know what the biggest prey is that Hosanna could now take down, given his increase in size? I would say he could easily... Not easily, I think he could take down a kudu, an adult female kudu, or a waterbuck. It would be a bit of a struggle. Those are big antelope, things that typically Tingana would go for. But he's got the vitality of youth, you see. And perhaps one might also say the overconfidence of youth. Male leopards have been known to take small buffalo. In the past, Hosanna has had a baby buffalo kill. We don't know whether or not he scavenged it or whether he caught it himself, but he has had a buffalo before, and he managed to hoist it, and that was a long time ago. Big warthog. I mean, a big warthog can actually technically reach 100 kilograms. So a big warthog is quite a large prey animal for a leopard like Hosanna. You will notice every now and again that a pole comes into the shot. That is due to the fact that we kept the roof on for safety's sake in case it decides to rain again. For moments just like this, where if it started to rain and we had to return home, it would be terribly tragic. I wonder what he's up to. I thought he was taking us to a kill. Definitely got a belly, I think. Okay, keep moving. It gets quite thick in here, so I've got to stay close to him. Now, I have to tell you that this is an area where one has to be very careful because it is Aardvark Central. There are numerous tunnels and they have a tendency to collapse underneath us. Okay, while I catch up with Hosanna, it hasn't been the most beautiful morning here at Djuma that I've ever experienced. Hopefully the Mara has something better to offer you in terms of scenery.
Well, the only thing more certain than Hosanna being hungry is the rising sun every morning. And well, here we have it for you folks. As always, beautiful Mara scenes. Cloud bank as yesterday as well. The clouds shielding the sun for some time, and it's finally broken above them to shed its golden light over the landscape. A new dawn. As we stop as well in a nice vantage point like this to scan for any lions, any movement. Plains as always are covered with general game in the form of wildebeest and zebra, many zebra, and of course the elephants at the moment, topi, young topi, but very peaceful scenes. As of yet, I haven't seen any animals looking too distressed. Yeah, indeed. Kodak moment for sure. Kodak moment for sure. Snap away, folks. I've also got view of two ostriches in the distance, and before we frame on them, I'm just trying to see if I can spot any little furry things following them. As of yet, I can't. I know everybody would be really excited to find little balls of ostrich for fluff. But a good moment, as always, to reflect on the day. James, that's a really good question. I'm not sure. James wants to know if the birds in the Mara, large birds, have a higher breeding success than down in the Kruger. And James, that's a really good question. I mean, we do have an enormous number of large bird species here in the form of raptors, in the form of storks, but a lot of the storks moving through, not necessarily breeding here. Ostriches, I've seen a number of ostriches in the Kruger, but only in open areas like what we see here. Hoary bustards are quite common down in parts of the Kruger, although being quite a sort of rare bird these days. I've seen enormous numbers of bustards, black-bellied bustards, out in the open plains here. They seem to be doing very, very well. So it's a really good question. I'm not sure. I mean, there is a huge number of bird species we see here. I don't see too many youngsters, so it might just be the time of year. But a very good question. I'm sorry I can't answer that. Maybe Jamie or Brent, who spent more time up in the Mara, might be able to add some light or shed some light on your question, James. A very good one. But I mean, seeing the saddleboard stork, the youngsters, we've seen them 2 or 3 times. That is super cool. That's something I've never seen before in my life. I've seen them 3 times here now in the Mara, so that is awesome. And, well, I've never seen ostrich chicks this size in the Kruger. I've seen them when they're about 1 meter tall. Other than that, I've never seen the really small ones. So, very good question. There's lots of breeding sites of large raptors in the Kruger, but here seemingly really abundant, because everywhere you look, there's a raptor moving through the sky. But good question. Let's continue on, shall we, James? Can't spot anything in the way of a lion in the distance, but we're going to keep looking. Sorry, James? James said we might get a cheetah. Well, wouldn't that be marvelous? When we're not looking for a cheetah, we'll find one. That's how it works. Cheetah would be nice. Okay, well, Brent has obviously tracked for Sana already, but job not quite done. I'm sure they've got more plans for the morning, but let's go and see exactly what they're going to get up to.
Well, indeed we have. Jamie had some lion tracks around Chelepan, heading to the north. So we're checking Central Road, making sure there are no tracks crossing. And if not, then we're going to disappear down into the Mawati River to see if we can see exactly where those lions went. Wouldn't it be nice to do the double this morning, lion and leopard on foot? That would be splendid, I say, splendid. Now, Hasana looked quite fat, so as Herbie and I were discussing earlier, we're pretty sure he'd been sitting on a kill somewhere for the last couple of days. That's why we haven't been seeing him. But now we've got a bead on him again. We will hopefully be able to keep him for the majority of the week. I'm looking forward to spending some more time with the little prince. Lindsay is wondering, did I hide my stick or did I take it fishing with me? No, my stick stays behind the door at FC when I'm not here. I haven't ever taken it off Juma. So no, I didn't take my stick fishing. I've got another stick that goes fishing with me. So I've got a ball of steel on the end of it for whacking undesirables. And now I'm not talking about the fish, I'm talking about people who decide to get a little bit naughty. Yeah, so the tracks were pretty much opposite where we are now. Ground's quite hard here. So just checking very carefully See if those lion tracks have crossed. Doesn't look like it so far. If we've got nothing, we're going to head down Batalia Road towards the Mawati. Did I miss a track, Herbie? Ooh, I don't... No, it's hyena. You think that's lions? It's during the rain though, this one. Now, let's check with Jamie quickly whether those tracks had been rained on or not, the ones she had this morning. This could be where they came from. Jamie.
Standing by.
Jamie, those line tracks you had they been rained on or were they after the rain?
They had been rained on, but not, it must have been after the big rain, because they were quite clear.
Okay, copy, thanks. So, we're just going to try to figure out what's going on here. They're changing direction. These, here we go. These after the rain. So, we've got tracks going in both directions. So, it's time for us to figure out the puzzle. In the meantime, let's go back to the little chief.
The little chief is definitely distracted, or maybe not distracted is the wrong word, perhaps focused is a better word, on something. I just want to be very careful as we move forward. Here he is. How's that, Sam? Good. Cool. Stop there for the poll. Now, he's seen something or heard something, and we can't figure out if it's potential prey or if he's being cautious of another leopard. Now, I've been away for 2 weeks, so I don't know where Tingana's been. I'm not sure where Hukumuri's been. It's a bit far east for Hukumuri. So perhaps his father or his sister, but something's definitely attracted his attention. I'm starting to think, though, from his behavior that it might actually be food rather than company. Well, I mean, where Hosanna's concerned, it could be either. I think at this point, if Tundi were to make a kill somewhere around here, Hosanna would take it from her. And I think that you'll find that the more time Hosanna spends around here, if I were to guess, I would say the less we'll see Tundi in this part of her territory, this sort of central Djuma area. What you see, boy? Now, he, of course, has hearing that is infinitely better than ours. So he would have heard the sound of impala moving together. Even just the softest footfall, if they were close enough, he would have picked up on. Or the sound of them brushing up against a twig or something like that. Oh, here we go. It's quite a thick area, so it is going to be tricky for us. Oh, what you smell. Could also be a late rising warthog, you know. Nope, we're on the move again. Okay. Hosanna, you're making life very difficult. Did you inherit this from your mother? Going into the densest possible areas. The number of times Karula lost me in this block. I remember Wiem being absolutely furious with me because we hadn't seen anything all day. And we finally found Karula. And she disappeared into the monkey orange. And I lost her. It was when I first started here and I was a lot gentler on the cars. I lost her and Wiem was very upset with me. We all know how Wiem feels about cats. Okay, let's go. Before I make the same mistake again. I have at least learned from my errors. Ooh, have I? I'm going to chance it, Seb. It's a nice big hole, but it's been made by a tree, not an aardvark. Okay, as we catch up with Hosanna and make sure that we don't disrupt his hunt in any way, let's go back across to Steve, who's driving along in the Mara, enjoying the beauty of the morning.
Good luck, Jamie. No doubt he will be on the hunt. He is perpetually hungry, that boy. Well, we are still searching. We're getting up to another vantage point now where we'll be able to scan the horizons to see if there are indeed any signs of the Awinos. But we've searched from sort of this side all the way that way a number of times. The first time I was coming from this side, and yet nothing. But what we've seen with lion dynamics in the last little while is they don't seem to abide by the territorial boundaries that we all have on a map. No, they just do what they want to do, moving for the food, and there still were loads of general game on that side, so they might have even moved out of their territory altogether in search of food. Times of plenty, moving with the crowds. It's a very nice sort of rocky area here that I had some really nice footage of the young male month and a bit ago. It's beautiful little rocky outcrops you come across. You'd think what a nice spot to see a lion on, or a leopard for that matter. We're just going to stop up here in a second and have a scan. You see some elephants all around us. Let's say good morning to our elephant friends. They're quite enjoying their rocky... Oh, this one's having a bum scratch, James. When you don't have fingers, folks, you need to rely on the substrate around... Oh, it stopped scratching. It was pulling a really nice face. It was rubbing its bottom on that rock. And marvelous how elephant skin, it is rather tough, how it can actually file down rock. There are places in South Africa where elephant paths have crossed mountain ranges, and those pathways are how the voortrekkers got over the mountains in the first place. And you go to these places and the rock has been worn smooth by the passage of elephant hide, the side of elephant bodies. Really incredible. In Botswana as well, there's lots of areas in the sandstone where the elephants have moved for many, many years, and there are these incredible pathways through the rock that have been created by the passage of many, many elephant feet. You would call that a form of mechanical weathering. Weathering is the breakdown of rock, and then erosion. The difference is erosion is the movement of that sediment from one place to another. But could you believe that elephants could be responsible for the breaking down of rock? Well, indeed they have. That one is having a bit of a scratch as well. Look at that. Oh, right on its bottom. Child Universe, these big rocks here, I'm trying to figure out as I look at them. But they're all part of the mountain range that we have behind us here.
Sorry about that, everyone. Apparently, ow! Thorns hitting me in the face. Apparently it disappeared off your screen, but that's okay. We're here and we're ready to show you Hosana again in a few short seconds. I just want to see what it is that's attracted his... Oh, it's come... Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. I've got the sneezes this morning. What's it? Oh, there's a dead thing there. How long has the dead thing been there? Yeah, looks a bit old. I doubt that's what he's interested in. What was it? Nyala. Yeah, it looks big enough to be in a Nyala. Shame. Victim of the dry season, by the looks of things. Where are you now? Has he stopped? Yeah, he stopped. You'll notice, for those of you that are new to these safaris, you'll notice that there's another vehicle as well with us here at Hosana. That is because this is an area where tourists can come to see the magnificent animals, and it's an important part of their conservation because tourists bring money, money protects animals, maintains the land they live on, and keeps it wild. Oh, Hosana, are we going to Gari Cut Line? Do we have to? Hey boy, There's the pole from our roof. Yep, you are going straight down into one of the worst areas. Oh, we're going to pass right by. Imagine how the guests are feeling on that vehicle. How exciting it must be for them to see a leopard that close. And into the Tambwerties. You horrible, horrible leopard, you. Oh dear. You can see him stopping to listen, look. Now this is not far from, in fact it's almost exactly where there was that confrontation over the impala between Tingana, Hosanna, Tundi, and later on Tlalamba, although she was not, of course, part of the confrontation. The very first time that Hosanna has stood up to Tundi with Tristan. Oh, I said her name. He immediately looked up. Now, we're actually about less than 50 meters or 50 yards away from the saffron tree that Hosanna was using, and it's where shortly after that particular incident Tundi went down and killed an Inyala and brought Tlalamba to it. I think he's hearing an Inyala somewhere down in there. Definitely hearing something. Now if you think about it, if you try and put yourself in the paws of a leopard, so to speak. Now, you're hungry-ish. He's not that hungry. He has eaten. But as discussed, he has a bottomless pit as a stomach. So, hunting, we walk up to a drainage line, you know. So walk along, see what you can hear, but walk up to a drainage line or a dried river system. And you know for certain that there's going to be something in there. Whether it's an Inyala or a bushbuck, it's just more likely that there are animals around here. So to stop and look and listen like that is going to pay off. And perhaps even just sit and wait underneath one of the trees and wait for the prey to come to him. It all makes sense when you think it through like that. It's tactical. Let's put it that way. There is very seldom do animals do things without a reason. You don't always know what their reasoning is, but very seldom do they actually behave in the way that they do without having a good explanation for it. I've seen it with lions when they hunt, or leopards actually, and you look at it and you think that this is a sure thing, that there is no way that the prey animal is going to escape. And then for some reason the lion doesn't launch, or the leopard doesn't race forward to tackle the prey. And we have no idea why it is that they've chosen not to do so, but there's obviously something within their experience that tells them it's not going to be successful. And it's not worth wasting energy on. You can hear that, Franklin. That's the last thing he wants. Oh, itchy ear. Sure. Hard to believe this is the same leopard. Even since I came back from Kenya, he's grown. He's definitely gone through a growth spurt. No, my boy. Not into the Tambwerties. Now, up until now, you would have seen me driving over trees. That's because they're species that spring up and that don't, driving over them doesn't actually do any damage to the environment. The same cannot be said of where we are now. So these are Tambwerty trees. He's definitely seen something in there. Definitely. These are Tambwerty trees, which means that we can't actually drive over them. They form a very important part of the anti-erosion process, and they of course are protected trees, so it would actually be illegal. Miranda, no, fortunately we're not in any danger of that. Miranda is wondering if it's possible for Hosanna to overhunt and become obese. There are no cases of obese wild animals at all. They've sort of got the way of their lives is such that they they will never get to that point where they are obese. There may be times when they are in really good condition, and for a leopard like Hosana, like now, that will go into growing rather than getting fat. So it's not like a situation where a human adult suddenly realizes that they can feed themselves and has bacon every day for the fun of it. No. But you do get obese captive animals, which is, I find, deeply tragic. There is a place that I would love to name, but am unable to, where I once went under the misapprehension that it was a place that did good. Oh, there he goes. And they had the most obese wild dogs I've ever seen, and it was the saddest thing I have ever witnessed. Okay, let's go just see if we can nosy down in a little bit. I can still see him. I'm not going to be able to go into this area from here, but I do want to be able to just check and see what is down there. So while we figure it out and make sure we don't have any negative effects on his hunt, let's send you back across to Steve in the Mara to see what he's found you.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, we are indeed still with our elephants. One came really close and was feeding. But we had a question before about the geological formations of these boulders. And essentially, we got the Kilgoris landscape, or the escarpment, which is, well, the Olololo escarpment to our right-hand side, which is underlaid by Kilgoris granite, which is a very ancient granite. All granite is very old, looking at more than 240 billion years ago. So it's a very long time ago. The granite is some of the oldest rocks on the earth, on the planet, but that's underlying and pushed up in an escarpment, like due to fractures and due to with whatever lava was there and left present. So these boulders that we have on the right-hand side are essentially remnants of basalt rocks that were probably still halfway up the slope, or in places where the weathering didn't take place, and the water eventually subsided, leaving these beautiful boulders strewn across the base of the escarpment on the right-hand side. Because as you go further left into the plains, they disappear, because that's where the water would have been at its strongest. But along the escarpment, a lot of boulders and basalt that was a very, very long time ago, probably before any of these plants even were in existence. So very, very interesting history. And obviously, once the lava was deposited and the waters receded, all sorts of plant life eventually took place and took root. And, well, we are entering another period of climate change, and probably a period of oceans rising. But beautiful nonetheless. These different habitats from the top of the mountain, quite thick, dense bush there, probably Well, let's go to tech loops more often because, well, out of nowhere, we have found a cheetah sitting in the road ahead of us on our route. I'm just going to have to turn around because it's suddenly decided to move. How awesome is that? We did not at all stage this. We didn't know the cheetah would be here. James suggested that we might see one. And the zebras are not happy seeing him. Seeing her, should I say. The zebras are not at all happy. They're shouting. It is indeed. Oh, there's a boy. There's a male cheetah on its own. It didn't seem to be the most relaxed of individuals. I don't know who this is. This is in prime lion country, so a nomadic cheetah male perhaps moving through. We are going to follow though because, well, we can. How fantastic, James. I spotted something in the road. I had a look with my binoculars and James was like, "You can't be serious." And he'd said 20 minutes ago we might find a cheetah. How he knew that is beyond me. So now it's up to Brent to track down the lions that side, to give all of you, ladies and gentlemen, back home the cat trifecta for the morning. Very good. If anybody is able to identify this male for me, please do. We're going to see if we can keep up with him now, though. Hold on. Off-road we go. If I can get it in a gear. A very nice area to have cheetah in. And welcome. I'm glad we're able to show you a cheetah. This one is just doing some scent marking against the tree there. It's claiming this territory. Cheetahs don't necessarily claim territories, but they utilize sort of any form of elevated position as a sort of signal post to tell other cheetahs that they're around. Smell me, they want to say. This is my urine that I'm putting against a tree. And I'm just going to stop over here, James, to get another look. It's not the most relaxed cheetah. It's probably come from Tanzania in the south and probably hasn't been followed very much. Oh, there we go. Well, that answers the question about whether he's relaxed or not. He's just fallen down in the long grass. Clearly not too bothered by us, but definitely gave us a bit of a look when we approached him. Cheetahs that have been followed by many vehicles seemingly don't respond at all to a vehicle. This one seemed to move away when we got a little bit closer, but not too concerned. Probably all sorts of smells in this environment that he's going, "Oh, is this a place I want to hang out in?" And there's plenty of visual for a cheetah in this area to be able to spot any predators. And there are also plenty of small animals around. I saw some topi before with some youngsters. This is an area that we find a fair amount of oribi as well, secreting themselves. And good boy, he's going all the way back to that other tree. Let's go catch up with him, James. We might get him doing something on that tree or on that termite. Dairy, I don't know. Actually, I've never smelt. So I'm not 100% sure what they smell like. The wind is blowing. If we went with him now, I'd jump out and go smell that tree. But I'm going to have to defer to someone who's probably stuck their nose in it before. No doubt Brent has had his nose right in the urine spray of a cheetah. But I've never smelled cheetah scent marking before. Before coming up to the Mara, I hadn't spent too much time with cheetah doing anything like that. He's going up to the tree. James, here he is. Let's see the behavior he's going to do. He's going to investigate it. He's going to sniff. And there might be a claw or two involved. He's going to turn and do a scent mark right here. There we go. letting everybody know he's around. Females will also pick up on that smell, and he's trying to pick up on the smell of a female if he wants to mate. Other males see what's going on in the area. Isn't that a beautiful shot? Oh, the morning I leave my camera at home. That's how it works, folks. You get a cheetah posing like that for you. Well, Lou, all we did was follow him. He's doing all the work for us. Take your screenshots, please, folks. Send them through to me. That is a memorable shot indeed. Well, he's going back the way we came. So, if you don't mind, folks, we will stay with him. And, well, if we bump lions on this route, then so be it. If we don't, well, we're happy to spend time with an unknown male cheetah at the moment. If anybody knows who it might be, please let us know. You know, some of you have got some incredible ways of identifying the legs of these cats. James says his eye's not damaged, so he's not the remaining border boy. Okay, very good. James, one of the guides actually posted a picture about 3-4 days ago of the two border boys together, somewhere further south from where we are. So apparently they are still together, but I really haven't. I've never seen the border boys. The only males we've seen, James, were those two youngsters, do you remember? Yeah, Lou, I was thinking something similar along those lines. Lou's wondering if it's the Narratoys one boy that she lost. Well, it could be. I don't know. It looks to be a mature cheetah, but it's really hard to identify those sort of features. I don't see too many cheetah, and to compare them against each other, well, they look so similar, even females to males. Only if they're together do you see the difference. Well, very good. We're going to continue on. Keep up with this boy as he's now walking quite nice and deliberately on the road. Just going to get back on there. Okay, so Brett now has his job cut out for him to get the trifecta, but let's ask him, what does cheetah urine smell like?
Well, I'm not really concentrating on cheetah urine at the moment. We're far more concerned with a very big herd of elephants that has blocked our route towards where the lion tracks are. But we just heard on the Game Drive radio that Rexon has found a Talamati male and two of the Mangen males. Not sure where the rest of the pride is. They're probably less than 300 meters from us, but directly between us and the rest of those tracks is a big herd of elephants. And in this weather, you have to be very, very cautious with ellies. They can get very upset when it's windy like this. So we've stopped quite far away, probably about 100 meters or so away. And we're not going to push through there. We're going to have to go round the long way and see what else we can find. That Rexon's now found those lions. There's little point in us heading for the tracks. But it is always nice to watch ellies on foot, even if you're watching them at a distance. We're actually hiding in a big fallen down knobthorn. Craig's using it as a nice rest, and I'm sitting below keeping an eye on the ellie. So it's actually a perfect spot in this type of weather to watch elephants from. We're completely safe. They're completely unaware of our presence. The one thing you've always got to be careful of when approaching a breeding herd, no matter the weather, is that on the peripheries there could be some of those sort of teenage to early 20-year-old bulls that have been pushed out of the main body of the herd and on the peripheries being scolded and often being chased by the bigger females. So the most important sense, apart from obviously being able to see the elephants when you're in these situations, is to listen very, very carefully. So my ears are on high alert, seeing if we can hear a branch break. And for example, Craig, as earlier we heard, before we even saw the elephants, we heard a dung ball hit the ground with a large thud. Little sounds like that, that's what keeps you safe out here, being supremely aware of your surroundings. Oh, she's been pulling out little, well, it's a bit far to see, but it looks like a little combretum. There's a good, probably 20 or so elephants spread out through, and I did see a couple of small babies a bit earlier. So, as I said, that way's off limits now. So we're going to sneak off this way, and we're going to try to guess where the rest of the pride might have gone. If those young males over there, it's possible that the rest of the pride might have gone to Torchwood, or they could have headed towards Buffelshoek area, which is through here. So we're going to skirt around the herd of elephants very quietly and very carefully, and see if we can pick up on any tracks on the other side. Okay, so while we sneak around this big herd of elephants, let's go see where Jamie is and what she's up to.
I lost him. Talking about, you know, telling the stories of Hosanna's mother ditching me in the monkey orange thicket. Well, Hosanna's just ditched me in the Tambueti thicket. We did actually manage to follow him from where he disappeared. We went through the drainage, we found him here, and then poof, vanished, gone, disappeared into obscurity. I can't find him. And I don't want to drive around too much in this area because the roof obviously has an enormous impact on exactly where it is we can go. I just want to check one last place, and that's down here, because he pounced towards something when we last saw him, and then it didn't look like he'd caught it, but I just want to check that he hasn't settled down and is busy munching a scrub hare or something. But it definitely doesn't look like it. Now, Lee, we've spoken a lot about his size and how magnificent he's looking, but Lee wants to know how long it will be before Hosanna challenges his father. I don't think anytime soon. I mean, Hosanna's not even 3 years old yet. I would say that he would need to be at least 4, and it's not just about size. Youth helps, but there is that young, he doesn't have the know-how or the confidence in himself to actually be able to challenge his dad, I don't think. You know, we could always be taken by surprise, as we often are with animals. They do things that we just didn't expect them to. And that could easily happen with Hosanna. He could challenge Tingana tomorrow, but I doubt it. I really doubt it. I don't think he's confident enough yet. So I would say give him another year, and Tingana's getting older. Rexon, who, of course, for those of you who don't know, Rex is the amazing Juma guide who sometimes helps us out by walking with us. Rex thinks that Hosanna is going to just wait it out. He's just going to wait until his dad gets old, and then he's going to just, rather than challenging his father, he's just going to kind of step into the vacuum that Tingana will leave behind. He will have to challenge him, though, because Tingana's not going to just up and leave. I don't think. Oh, there he is. I found him. Yeah, I found him. Hello, my boy. That was pure luck. Sorry, Seb. I was not watching. Woo! Oh, yeah. I still got it. Even if I'm a bit rusty. He just gave me such a look. Sorry, boy. What are you doing? Why here? Of all the places, Seb, would you have said this is where we needed to look? Because I wouldn't have. Hey, what's up? Now you look like you're going to move again. Could you just let me have one break? Just one break? Could you just sit still for one segment? My clutch leg's tired. Too many sticks?
No, it's fine.
Will it do?
Yeah.
Great, because my clutch leg's tired. It's been some heavy driving. Oh, you don't have to look so sad, Hosanna. I think he inherited that from his father. Downcast, the weight of the world on his shoulders. Oh. 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 I don't even know how to begin to describing where he is. Oh, James. He's a sleepy boy. Obviously been a long night. Well, that was a surprise. All that. I guess perhaps what he was thinking was, let me just go and check the drainage line where I know that there are nyala and bushbuck, and if I don't get lucky, then it's bedtime. Now, Rex has found the Mungen males, lions. He's been following those tracks that I found this morning. So we might go there and try and complete the big cat trifecta before the end of the drive. How much time have we got left? No, we've got plenty of time. Okay, I'm going to do some shuffling around to see if I can get a slightly improved view of our little chief. Let's go back to Steve, who's done very well finding spots instead of rosettes.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, we're still with him. He's not the most relaxed cheetah, and we're giving him lots of space, though. It looks like it could be a youngish male. I'm not 100% sure, but he's been scent marking on every tree he's gone past. And up ahead is a family of topi. There's some zebra and there's some topi with some youngsters we can't see in shot at the moment, but there's a good chance that this animal might find one of them, spot one of them. You see all the zebra in the background. Zebra, unless there's a foal, a difficult animal to gauge, a difficult animal to catch. They're very strong teeth. Jamie discussed a fair bit of that last night. Very powerful teeth, not only for fighting but for defense. And a poor little cheetah really wouldn't have any match against an adult zebra, but a youngster that strayed too far from the herd. Easy pickings. But towards the right of the zebra, down in the valley, there are topi with some very small little yearlings. Well, if cheetah spots those, there's a good chance there might be some action. But for now, it seems like he's on a bit of a territorial movement, trying to demarcate as much as possible. I wonder, there's also a warthog off to the left. I wonder if you'd go for a big male warthog. I don't think he would. But then, I don't know this cheetah. Many animals, cats in general, have got certain personalities that they do, and sometimes they do things unsuspecting. Kelly, I'll have to show you a photo if we don't find one. But cheetah in the Mara and Serengeti system, 60% of their diet is Thompson's gazelle, the small little gazelle that we have moving around. I've never really seen any in this area, the Thompson's gazelle. They're more over that side on the flatter, shorter, burnt area. I haven't seen any Tommies in this area, but any young animal, any foal, warthog, will fall victim to a cheetah. It's all about the size, not necessarily the flavor. But Thompson's gazelle, the youngsters and adults, are the perfect sort of morsel for a cheetah. They're kind of in the arms race with cheetah evolution. As the cheetah gets faster, the Thompson's gazelle gets better at moving left and right in sort of a sideways ducking. So the warthog is just off to the left here. I don't know if it's spotted him. Don't think he's even spotted it. But the zebra to my right have most certainly spotted him. And he's crouching a bit low. The warthog is now bolting off on the left. He's not making a very good show of being camouflaged. Proud Cup Mama, that's a great question. I know for a fact that when we had cheetah that we were trying to habituate in the Kruger National Park, we would not go anywhere near that animal in line of sight with a tracker on the bonnet. Didn't matter if you were 500 meters, a kilometer away. If you knew the cheetah was in the area, our tracker would get inside the car They wouldn't sit on the bonnet, and then we had a good time with that cheetah. So I think they can see incredibly far. I couldn't tell you exactly how far, but they can see movement and they can see definition from a very long distance. But I honestly can't give you the answer. But 500 meters, 600 meters, we would completely avoid the cheetah being able to see our tracker. So if we knew a cheetah was in the area, tracker would get in long before getting to the site, because we believe the cheetah could actually spot him on the bonnet, and they weren't used to seeing people like that, and they would move away. So I think they can see very far. 500 meters to a kilometer, I think, not a problem. But then I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. There's some Koch's hartebeest. They've spotted the cheetah. They're not going to like him being in their area. He spotted them as well. They're going to come up closer. They didn't have any babies. We drove past them earlier. They both got horns, the male and female. But let's move up and see what happens. Cheetah's just gone behind that termite mound. The warthog is hiding with the hartebeest now. Maybe he thinks they'll give him some comfort. But a big warthog, tricky business for a cheetah. Those tusks, very, very dangerous, but we're giving him lots of space. We don't want to influence him in any way, allow him to carry out his normal behavior, and we've been seeing him do that. There he is. He's definitely on the lookout for something, but he's not making a very good show of it. He's standing quite tall, flicking his tail as he walks. Maybe he's just on a little bit of a territorial movement. Oh, I don't know, Lou. I think he might just be excited. Might be a youngster, just a little bit of excitement in him. There he goes. He's going to go onto that termite mound to get a better view of what's going on. Or maybe not. They do like to get a little bit of a vantage, cheetah. And the perfect time of day for him to be moving. Still nice and cool. He's looking at where the warthog went to. He might be looking to see if the warthog maybe has a family. Julie, that's a really good question. From a weight point of view, I mean, I think male cheetah get up to about 70 to 90 kilograms, somewhere in that range. I'm going to have to double check the difference in male and female for you, though. I think it's not enormous. It's not as much as you find in leopards. Leopards, he's going to investigate that tree there. I'm going to investigate once again. Just going to double check for you, Julie. So the average is 40 to 60, and so anywhere from 30 to 72. So males can get up to 70 odd, females much smaller than that. But it's not really that noticeable unless you see them together. You don't really notice the size difference. I've even seen a female with two subadults, as you've probably seen with Narrator, and it wasn't really much in it, was it? You think they're the same sort of size. But the males are just slightly stockier and slightly bigger. But not like you see in Tingana, for example. You can just tell a male leopard versus a female. There's enormous difference in size. Cheetah, they're still built for speed, built for high speed pursuits, so they can't afford to get too heavy. Their bone structure is quite light, quite delicate, most delicate of the large cats, but still powerful in their own right in what they do. Fastest land mammal. Sammy Jane, if a cheetah lost his tail, well, I think it would make a huge difference, because the cheetah at high speed, that tail kind of moves around the corners with this, acting like a rudder to allow them to turn the corner. Because the Thompson's gazelle's got this ability to sort of turn left and right at very high speed, and the cheetah actually counteracts that movement by swinging the tail left and right as a rudder to sort of move that sort of angle and then turn them around the corner. So if they lost their tail, I think as they're going at full speed, they would just stall and maybe completely wheel spin out on the back. But I don't know, that would be something to see. I've never seen a cheetah without a tail. He's very excited with his tail there. Now having a little bit of a jog up ahead. as he spotted something. Just going to get through here. And he's just going to take it easy with this guy, see exactly where he gets up to. We're not going to put any pressure on him. Giving a nice distance. This is the nice view we'll be able to see for now, I'm afraid. And he's walking past a big herd of zebra on the right. And the topi were down here with some youngsters, but he doesn't seem to have spotted them. They are very short and quite brown in color and, well, low down in the grass. It's exactly how they defend themselves or avoid predation. But all of the animals across the plain here are all looking at the passage of this cat, all trying to figure out what does he want. Welcome to this part of the Mara Triangle, young sir. You're most welcome here. Hopefully he manages to find a nice little spot for himself to hang out. Okay, well, there we go. There's the spot he wants to find and hang out. A little bit of, the sun is up, getting a little bit warmer. Don't know how far he's been walking this morning, but he's going to lie down in typical cheetah fashion. And finally his tail stops moving erratically. Okay, well, we're going to maybe get a little bit closer, maybe get a nice view, and hopefully someone will be able to help us identify this. But in the meantime, Jamie is still with Hosanna.
I am still with Hosanna. I haven't managed to reposition. There isn't honestly anywhere for us to go to get a better view. It's quite thick in this area. I think what we're probably going to do once we've chatted a bit more about him is wander off in search of those lions, and then maybe, just maybe, pop past the hyena den on our way home. I don't know, we'll have to see how the timing goes. But it seems as though for now Hosanna is not going anywhere. I've GPS'd his location for this afternoon, because to try and describe where we are to someone else, if I don't come to him this afternoon, I don't even think it's possible. I'm somewhere. I am in a block somewhere. Yeah, to try and spot him. I mean, you saw how we stumbled upon him purely by chance. You got dirty paws, mister, after the rain. As it should be. It's going to get that much more difficult as we go into the rainy season. First of all, imagine if there were leaves on these trees. That's going to come soon. And it's going to make seeing into the bush very difficult. It also means tracking's very difficult. But it brings its own joys, the rainy season. Elephants swimming in bursting dams. I mean, I'm really being hopeful here that we're going to see a lot more rain. Little baby impala, little baby wildebeest, baby warthog soon. So there are different advantages and disadvantages to each season. Bear with me a moment. I'm just going to go quiet so I can listen to this conversation on the Game Drive radio. I'm just getting updates from Herbie about where the lions were. Looks like they were lying up. So Rex has found the males, which was where we were going to go, but it looks as though the tracks of the Nkuhumas are moving towards, probably, I'm going to guess, Buffelshoek Dam. That would be where I'm going to check. It's just going to take me about 10 years to get out of this block. I'm exaggerating, but only just a little bit. Okay, cool. I can talk to you again properly. My attention is fully focused. Are you dreaming? Yes, he's dreaming. What you dreaming about? I don't know what he's dreaming about. Perhaps he's dreaming of great chases, or perhaps he's dreaming of climbing trees, which leopards do well, but cheetah can also do when they really, truly set their mind to it.
Yes, well, how beautiful is this scene? Oh, is he having a poo? Looked like he was having a poo there. He's climbed up the tree after scent marking, and it's not the tallest of trees. He's making it look very awkward. Obviously a very nice communication tree. Cheetah love to climb up and not only view things from there, but to also scent mark up in trees, because sort of the smell obviously blows a little bit further away. They're communication centers, so as other cheetah in the area can know he's here. Such marvelous scenes we are enjoying here in the Mara. Every day is different. You never know what to expect, and he looks like he might be stalking something there. He suddenly went very low behind that mound. He's going to come out on the other side. I don't really want to start up and startle whatever it is he might be doing. Can you still see him, James? He looked like he went low. I think he might just be finding some shade there. Let's sneak up here on a little parallel road to where he's been walking, which is awesome. He's walking away from us now, going to investigate the next tree. He's going from tree to tree out here, clearly smelling something. When last the cheetah was along these parts. Just going to get up ahead of him here, because he's making a beeline directly for the next tree. Just going to turn like that for you, James. How's that, sir? A little bit to the right. Okay, well, he's completely ignored that tree and is walking on towards the next one. But look at these scenes unfolding in front of you, just endless landscapes. The cheetah in the golden light. I don't think we could ask for anything better than this. I knew when I left my camera at home that something special was going to show itself to us this morning. And well, now I'm punching myself in the head. How beautiful. There we go. Look at that. Now, how many cheetah could be out here? You wouldn't even know. They just disappear. And right now, that's a really good question. I mean, I think tails are extensions of animals' spines, but I'm really not sure. I mean, we should have a tail coming off of our coccyx, and that is a part of sort of its extension of the spine. So I suppose the tail of animals is essentially just different sort of, I don't really know. That's a question I've never been asked before and never thought about. But I suppose the tail's got something to do. It must be locked in to the spine, so it's able to move like that. But, you know, cutting a tail off doesn't necessarily sever the spinal cord, if you know what I'm saying. I don't think it's got the same nerve endings moving up and down. But very good question. Very, very good question. I mean, so many animals have got tails. There must be some connection to the spinal area, but I don't think it's as important as our important spinal cervical column. Okay, well, we're going to go off-road here. He's in the long grass there. We're going to have to look into tails now, because that is a very good question. You're just going to slowly creep down here and get in a nice angle with the light. Let's see how close we can get. We're giving him lots of space. We don't want him to move off or run away for any reason. Having a cheetah in this area is very special. I mean, I've spoken at length over the last few days about how many lion prides we're finding in this area. The Olololos to that side, the Winos here, the marsh just there, the river pride just there, the Magoro pride just there. Those two young marauding males are just over here somewhere. Lions, lions, lions. And well, cheetah, they don't like lions. They really don't like lions. But almost invisible in the long grass here he sits. Tell me when you're happy there, James. More. Just going to move a little bit more around here. How's that, James? Trish, you want to know if cheetah can climb trees? Why don't they hoist their kills? Well, they can climb trees, Trish, but they don't have the same claws as a leopard do. Leopards have got protractile, which means that their claws are able to extend out when they need them. So they're very sharp and designed for digging into trees and climbing. Cheetah's claws are constantly out, very similar to that of dogs. And so they don't really have the same sort of sharpness in the claws because they get quite blunt from running. Just the dew claw, which is essentially the thumb, is quite sharp. So pulling their own weight up is okay. But pulling the weight of another animal up, they don't also have the same sort of strength in the neck or in the shoulders, the scapula, to allow them to pull themselves and an animal equivalent in weight to themselves up a tree. They've given up strength to enable them to have more speed. So they are the grassland specialists, the speed specialists. They pursue their prey, pulling them down on the ground and feeding on them where they sit. They might drag them a short distance into the shade, but invariably, I've never heard of a cheetah hoisting a kill. They're not designed to do so. I'm not saying it's impossible, but they're not really designed from a strength point of view. From a claw point of view, they don't really have the necessities to allow them to, or the faculty to really climb up a tree with a kill in their mouth. And also, the neck is not that strong. They've got a very powerful bite force, enabling them to suffocate their prey, but they don't really have the same strength that you see exhibited in leopards. They're able to hoist their prey very, very tall, very high up trees. And very likely lions would be able to get to wherever a cheetah was able to get to, so it wouldn't have worked out from an evolutionary point of view. Well, talking about lions, Brent Leo Smith is trying very hard, I think, to track down some in Djuma.
Well, Steve is not listening to his radio, naughty Steve. Unfortunately, every time we try get near that area, we run into more elephants, but you can't see them now. They've just moved through these thickets. But unfortunately, we couldn't get anywhere near where we wanted to move. It's just massive herds of elephants all spread along the eastern sections of the reserve here. And we haven't been actually able to get through safely, especially with the wind and the weather today. So we've decided to abandon, heading towards the eastern sections of the property. And we're heading west now, down back towards the Mawati River. So, unfortunately, they're in these thickets here. And that big herd we saw earlier actually started moving towards us and cutting off the route we wanted to take. So, alas, we'll just go look for something else. As I said, it's going to be a couple of days still before we see any of the small hohos or insects. James is wondering, do I think it's too cold for the land snails to be out? No, not necessarily. I think, as I said, they might need a little bit more rain. They would have been out during the rain last night, but I think till it rains again and there's a bit more moisture around, I don't think we're going to see too many of them. So, another big animal. Not an elephant this time, but there's a giraffe. Herbie is so cold he is standing, because Herbie decided to wear shorts and short-sleeve shirt today with just a little fleece jacket. Herbie is now trying to stand behind Craig to protect himself from the wind. There we go. Well, there's a giraffe. Let's see if we can get a bit closer to that. Again, most animals in this windy weather are going to be a bit nervy, but we should be able to get a slightly better view around the bend. Wind is in our favour. But of course, you've got to remember, a giraffe with that long neck, they're looking down, but he is looking in the opposite direction to us. Looks like a big male, but their eyesight is fantastic. So there is a chance they might spot us before we get closer. Some impala down there as well. Eddie. And again, more elephants. That is a very upset young elephant. I don't sounds like something's going on there. Trees breaking. Okay, we might not go look for that giraffe right now. Let's take a slightly safer option with the wind. Let's see what's going on there. It sounds like a very upset young one. Let's just have a quick look, see what's going on. Now, as I said, we've got to be very, very careful in this wind. We've been spotted by some of the giraffe already, but unfortunately my focus is not on the giraffe at the moment. It is on that noise, which is quite horrifying. Can see some of the elephants. It almost sounds like weaning that is going on. Let's go. We're going to have to go around a bit more. Okay, guys, we're going to have to try get out of this situation. Lots of strong winds, and the elephants aren't aware of our presence yet, but we don't want to make them aware of our presence. So we're going to move away from here. As I said, it sounds like one complaining that it's not getting any milk, but that can upset the whole herd. So we're going to take a wide berth. In the meantime, let's send you across to Jamie.
Alrighty, so while Brent navigates his way out of a potentially tricky situation, it's all part and parcel of what it is we do out here. We've left Hosanana. We're just checking Buffelshoek Dam quickly for the females, and then we're going to head towards those male lions. I just want to double check. I heard something, but I only half heard it. So bear with me one moment. Rex. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't copy that update properly. What was it, Twin Dams? Okay, copy. Any Misi around? Ngomo, thank you. I'm gonna make my way to Buffelshoek Dam and then to the Zingala. Cool. So Rex is just telling me that there's a dead wildebeest on Twin Dams. He thinks natural death. He thinks it ran into a log. As we know, wildebeest do have a tendency to panic. I think they probably panicked when they saw those lions. And I saw the tracks around the lion tracks. I saw the wildebeest tracks. So apparently it looks as though it might have broken its own neck, panicking and running into something in the dark. Oh, little one. Don't panic. Don't panic. Yay! It's my first baby impala that I put on camera. I have seen a few, but I did get to see at least one lamb. Hi, cutie. Are you thirsty now? Was that run thirsty work? Oh, I'm not going to reposition. I know that it's not the best view, but obviously the sound of our vehicle panicked them slightly. They are bound to be more nervous in this windy weather. Oh, look at it go. Well done to Mum for being able to produce milk. I actually find it quite amazing that the female impala are able to carry, or actually any female browsers, are able to carry their babies to full term with the food that they had available to them up until recently. At least now the trees have got some leaves. A little bit stumbly, isn't it? I wonder. While I see this happen each and every single year without fail, no, Mom's just given birth. She's wet around the rear. I say just. It's probably been a fair few hours because that baby's already running. But what I was going to say is just how amazing it is that they are born with these long legs that are somehow able to stand within a few minutes after birth and then able to run. We know why. It makes there's no way they would survive if they couldn't, but I still find it fascinating. In this cold weather, I actually think it might even have been born last night, because the sort of wet patches around Mom have dried up. Mushe would like to know if impala have udders or if it's just small pockets of milk. They don't have full udders, not in the way that, say, dairy cows are bred to have. No, they have teats and mammary glands. They've got 2 nipples between their back legs. It's okay, Mum. See how alert she is. She's still separate from the herd. Oh, it's shivering. Oh, shame. Poor little one. A bit cold. They've got 2 nipples behind or between their back legs. Bop, bop, bop. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Oh, what a terrifying world to be born into. Sweet. Okay, go find the rest of your herd. Mum? And she's dashing off in that direction. Sweet. Never gets old. Never ever. Alright, as we head off in the direction of Buffelshoek Dam, let us rejoin Steve up in the Mara, where hopefully he's still with his cheetah, I'm not sure, but let us go and find out from him.
Never gets old seeing young impala lambs indeed, Jamie, and well, this male cheetah, if he spotted that impala lamb, it would be overs. Cheetahs generally have a 100% success rate with lambs and foals. Youngsters, much easier to catch, and well, definitely an easier meal when you are the fastest cat. But for now, this young man has just been sitting in what was the shade, and now the sun has now moved, as it does, to put him beautifully in the light for us. But without knowing he was here, you would have no idea. It goes to show how many serval and cheetah we probably bypass out in these open plains. Not expecting to see him here along the escarpment with the abundance of lion that we have in the area. But my assumption is he's a new young male who's moved into the area. He's trying to carve out a little section. We've been looking for lion in this area for the last 5 days, and they haven't been, so maybe he's thinking, okay, there's no lion here. This is a good spot. But what he doesn't know is they're just away for the weekend or something. What will he see with his very good eyesight? He's at least perked himself up a little bit. He's gone from a slouching cat to an alert one. He's looking past our car. There is an enormous number of animals down here. Topi, zebra, that ostrich pair. Been looking closely to see if I can see any little fur balls at their feet, and nothing yet. And he hasn't quite spotted anything to his liking. He's now looking at elephant. That's not what you want to go for, boy. That's for sure. He's looking in every single direction now. So scanning like we were doing with our binoculars, scanning and scanning, that's what he's doing. And as soon as he finds something that sort of fits the bill with regards to food size, well, we might see something happen. But who knows? He mightn't leave me hungry. He might just be moving away from an area, trying to find a nice, comfortable place to spend the day. Well, there he is, comfortable in the long grass, James, loving his afternoon, his morning. No doubt he will be here for some time. We are just at the base of the escarpment, and our camp is actually visible from where we are, so he fits right into all of those pride territories that we were talking about. So poor fella probably has no idea what he's getting himself into out here. A lion would very easily, or very willingly sneak up to him and dispatch him. They're not liked by lions at all. Lions go out of their way to kill cheetah. It's all about competition. Discussing a little bit yesterday the fundamental and realized niche in an environment, and well, the entire Mara system would be inundated with cheetah if it was not for competition. And so, to explain it more, the fundamental niche is all of the areas within a habitat that an animal can survive without competition. And competition is other cheetah, other predators, and the like. And so if you removed all of the other predators,
I'm sorry, Steve has vanished off your screens once again. So we're just having a few gremlin issues where the Mara is concerned. It's okay, we're still here. We're still ready to take you on the safari with us. Nothing at Buffelshoek Dam, and I'm sad to say that there hasn't been much in the way, or there wasn't enough rain to even make much of a difference to Buffelshoek Dam. There's a small puddle, and that's it. So we need a good few rains, just like we had yesterday, to make obviously that then takes away the stay.
Welcome back, folks. Terribly sorry about our connection issues. Not sure exactly what's going on, but you're back with us. And Melody asked a question about, are we not worried about cheetah coming and climbing on the car? Well, I wouldn't allow him to come and climb on the car, Melody. If he did come close, I would either start the engine or I'd make a noise and prevent him from doing so. I don't think allowing these cats to climb on cars is ethical. And I don't think in the long run it is a good idea. It does happen. I have seen it many times, not in person. I've seen many videos about it. And it's wonderful for cheetah to come close and be right next to your guests. But some people are terrified. I mean, this is a predator right here. Although a docile predator that generally isn't doesn't cause much harm for humans. But still, it is a wild cat. They've got claws, they've got teeth. And, well, invariably, you don't want them interacting with us to the point of actually using us for a hunting platform. So I would most certainly do something about it if he tried to climb on the car, as I would do if a male lion or any lion decided to come too close and sniff. You've got to teach them that that's not acceptable behavior. They're just inquisitive, and well, cheetahs in open landscapes where there's no elevation have been known to climb on cars, but that's because people allow them to do so. I hope that answers your question. His head is definitely up. I'm trying to scan in the distance and see what he's looking at. All I can see is a herd of zebra, and he might be looking at that. It's a good 400 meters away. He's probably looking for some small individual in there. He hasn't looked. If he looks a bit to his right, he'll find topies with youngsters, but they're a little bit secreted away from him. Maybe a little bit of elevation will assist. Hello, Joshua. Well, there's two apparent purposes, although we can always debate them, for the tear marks. And just like NFL football players have put the black sort of stripe underneath their eye, it's apparently to do something with light. Cheetah being more of a diurnal hunter, they reckon that black stripe under the eye assists in light reflection, so it enables them to have a little bit more of a polarized sort of view looking over the landscape. And when a cheetah snarls as well, those stripes on the face actually add definition to the cheetah's face, so that might also be an intimidation factor there as well. Who knows for sure? But lions have got that little bit of white mark underneath the eye, potentially to see better at night time when the light is quite low, as do leopards. That little bit of white over here. So cheetah have got the black, the opposite. And well, a cheetah not being the most formidable of the cats, when they growl, that tear mark almost adds a little bit of definition to the face. Possible. There he is. Nice one, James. A little two-shot of me with the cheetah. Thanks very much. That one's going up on the wall. Donald, that's a great question. We were talking earlier, I think before we got lost and cut away, about cheetah and with regards to fundamental niche versus realized niche. And I'll explain your question. I'll answer your question with the same discussion. If we eliminated all of the predators out of the Mara, we would have cheetah hunting by day, hunting by night, hunting everywhere, hunting all sorts of animals all the time. But the reality of it is that there are other predators, so there is competition. So the cheetah's niche has been changed. Now, a niche is not only essentially the habitat they're in, but also the time that they move around. So cheetahs have avoided being nocturnal due to the presence of, or the dominance of, lion, leopard, hyena, sort of in nighttime hunting areas. And so they have become more of a daytime hunter. In places, Shamwari is a popular reserve with some of the superstars down in the Eastern Cape in South Africa. They introduced cheetah as their first predator before they introduced lion, and the cheetah were hunting by night. They were active by night, no problem at all. And then they introduced lion some months or some years later. I'm not sure exactly the dates. And as soon as the lion got introduced, the cheetah's behavior changed. So that's all to do with fundamental, meaning all of the areas in a landscape and time that an animal can occupy. And then realized is the actual area within a landscape, within a habitat, within a time frame that an animal will be active and moving due to competition, which is the reality in nature. Survival of the fittest is all to do with competition. Without competition, we would not have the speciation and diversity of mammals and animal species in the world. Because of competition, we have overlaps, we have species change, we have diversity, and he is gone into the shade. He doesn't want to be seen anymore. Well, James, I'm going to reverse back very slightly, or I'll go forward, actually. I think forward will be the best bet. I hope that has answered your question there about when cheetah will be hunting and when they won't be. To just add a little bit more to that, when we talk about niche,
wherever we go today, there are elephant. We're trying to get towards the last tracks of some lioness, and we're just encountering elephant every single step of the way. We must have seen over 60, 70 elephant on foot today. There we go. I'm just trying to get you a good view. Herbie, she's walking through the thickets again. So literally every single direction we've decided to go in today, we've hit ellies. And again, this wind, so far the wind's been in our favour. Now the wind is behind us, so we're being extra cautious. But we get days like that out here, where there's just elephants